Welcome to Newsletter Guru TV, your show with a boatload of smart marketing and business building advice, and a little fun along the way.
This episode of Newsletter Guru TV is brought to you by Jim Palmer's famous No Hassle Newsletters Master Reseller Program. As a marketing coach or business consultant, you know that the fastest way to help your clients increase their profits is by getting more repeat business and more referrals from their current customer. And the best way to do that is with a monthly customer newsletter. Now, instead of simply recommending that your clients use a customer newsletter, you can provide them with an amazing done-for-you newsletter. The No Hassle Newsletter Master Reseller Program is a complete turnkey newsletter system that solves your client's biggest need, makes you a marketing hero, and also adds a lucrative new revenue stream for your business. Become a master reseller today at www.nohasslenewsletters.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru, coming to you today from Chicago. I'm here at the Glazer Kennedy Info Summit Marketing Conference. Ran into a very close friend of mine, Rosemary Nickel. How you doing, Rosemary?
Good. How are you? It's always good to see you. Always.
So Rosemary has been my coaching program for a couple of years, and then she kind of took off on her own. Is doing great things. One of the reasons I like coming to conferences like this, I'm always telling you to get out to live events, is you meet some really cool people and you hear what other people are doing. So one of the things that you've been really tearing it up in the last year is you've started a podcast.
I have.
And what is the name of your podcast?
Motivating Other Moms Radio, and I abbreviate it to Mom Radio.
Mom Radio. I love that. So one of the things we always talk about in marketing is you got a niche. So Rosemary didn't just start a radio show and call it the Rosemary Nickel Radio Show. She has a very specific niche. So you are, let's get a little background. So you are a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
And you are an entrepreneur. You have a husband who's an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So you're very busy and you got a lot of things going. So let's just talk about, because podcasting is exploding in popularity. I mean, I don't even know the numbers, but it's got to be thousands a week. People are starting these radio shows, internet radio shows, podcasts. It's all kind of the same lingo. So what motivated you, that'd be a good play on words, what motivated you as an entrepreneur mom to start your radio show?
It's interesting. This is kind of a lesson that a lot of entrepreneurs learn along the way. A lot of people told me not to do it along the way, and that I wasn't ready for it, and I should wait until I have this huge list. And I went to my husband's radio show as a guest, and I went, this is it? I can do this.
Husband is Niall Nickel, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Husband Niall Nickel,
Yeah.
yes, LinkedInfocus.com, and he rocks. He's a great supporter.
He does rock.
But that's really kind of, I went, okay, motivating other moms is about supporting other moms and letting them see what other moms are up to so that they don't feel alone, and let everybody know that we're all in the same space.
So one of the things that's so great is, well, you and I connected a while ago, but just this year, you're now connected with my daughter Jessica, who is a stay-at-home mom and an entrepreneur. And I think most people know that story, but Jessica came to me this time a year ago when she was pregnant, said, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom like Mom, my wife Stephanie, which thrilled us no end, but said, we can't afford to live on one salary. I said, let me teach you how to have a home-based business. And so that's how we started. And so you guys connected on Facebook, I guess, right?
Yeah, we did.
And Jessica, one of her businesses now, Rosemary is one of her clients with Interview Connections. So Jessica helps people get booked on radio shows. So
she's good.
So she is good.
She's really good.
Jessica, good.
She is good. InterviewConnections.com.
Yeah, you're so good. InterviewConnections.com. So one of the things I love about your show, Rosemary, is that it's so niche to working with moms who are also entrepreneurs out of the home. Because, the old expression is, do you work outside the home? Because it is such a huge job to have kids.
It's huge.
So let me ask you personally, how do you find the time to not only, run your household and make dinner for Niall and your kids and all that stuff, but how do you find time to create your show and record it and send it out there and grow your list and all that?
It's been a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Really?
I think it's simply because I really love doing it.
Okay.
But what I do is I pre-record a lot of the shows. I love the live shows, and people like to listen to the lives, but mostly people can't listen in on the live ones. So I do a lot of pre-record, so I can record 2, 3, 4 shows a day. Probably no more than 4 because you kind of lose your energy.
And it's a weekly show?
It's a weekly show.
So when you record 3 or 4 a day, you've got a whole month's worth of shows.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things I love about that is because you're in the zone.
Yes.
So Jessica, when she books interviews for me, either as a guest or on my podcast, I'll sometimes stack them like that because you're kind of in the zone instead of just, well, I got one here and then I got another one Thursday, and you might be doing something, you got to stop what you're doing and focus. That's a good strategy.
It feels more time consuming when you do it that way too, isn't it?
Does, yep.
So one of the tips I can give is I opened up a time trade account, and I send the link along with a letter to them of what to expect and what I need from them. But one of them is they go to Time Trade and they can select from, I do live recordings on Mondays, or they can choose from Thursdays.
And Time Trade is an internet-based kind of calendar program.
Right.
Perfect.
So they pick the time and the spot, and then that way it's all done for me and they're in my calendar.
The other smart thing I like is that you give them a sheet about what to expect.
Yes.
I think that's really smart. When Jessica pitches me as a guest, there's a one sheet which says this is who Jim is, what he does, et cetera, how possible topics. But then there's also coming back from the radio hosts, from the good ones like yourself, there are, here's what to expect. So for example, you'll hear music, or, I'll do an intro and then I'll bring you in, we'll do a commercial. So when people know what to expect, the interview goes a lot better. It
goes a lot better. I've been on some radio shows, and I just knew to show up and get on the phone.
Yeah.
And that was knew a little bit about the topic they wanted from me, and that was it.
So you said now that you're going, this is easier than you thought. So that obviously speaks to fear, which a lot of people have. And so getting going is the first step. And how did you do that? Did Niall push you, or did you just decide to go? Or
No, because I love the conversation between moms, and I love opening up honest, truthful conversations about the dirt.
You're very authentic. I mean, you don't hide anything. This is who I am. I want to help you, or if you're not into this, then this is what we're doing.
Yeah, because I've learned that sharing the pain and sharing the dirt and the crap that goes along with life is actually the best part of life.
There's dirt and crap raising kids?
There's a lot of crap
Not in our household.
Yeah, never. Well, that's just the thing.
Right.
Mompreneurs are out there, they're building their businesses, and it looks really great, and they look like they have it all together. And behind the scenes, you and I know, even as entrepreneurs, there's a lot of hard stuff going on. So my show basically brings moms in, and they talk about that, and it's surprising they're all willing to do it. I have yet to have anybody tell me no.
Oh, that's awesome. What's funny is it's not just moms, because when I shoot videos all over the place, but when I'm in my office, and I'm a kind of a messy worker, I like everything right here, but I'll just go and push it out. I know exactly how far it needs to be off my desk, so that camera that's in front of my desk.
See, I always wonder, I'm like, wow, their office is so
It looks
clean.
so neat, and I got my books behind me.
Yeah,
I know exactly what to do.
very impressive.
But if you look around, it's like, holy crap.
It's like, do you want to Skype? No, I don't want to Skype.
Yeah. So let's just do a couple more quick tips. So for people who are thinking of podcasting, just get started. What does that look like? I mean, you can just record into your computer. Are you using iTunes, or what's your platform?
There's a lot of different ways, and that's the new thing that I'm learning, and I might end up making that into a product myself. But you can just record on free. I would imagine you could use free conference call. I don't.
You can.
And .com, that's free. You can record onto your computer. You can. What I'm doing right now, just because I didn't want to do the work, is I found a new radio station. It's an internet radio station in my area.
Oh wow!
And this adds to the wow factor.
Yeah. The kind of professional image and things,
it's not
presentation.
expensive. It's not a huge investment for me. It's very low investment, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
But I go there, so I have a radio station to go to. It has all the microphones and setups, so people go, wow, this is really, she's the real deal.
Yes.
She's the real deal. And so they can come live, or they can see on the internet. They can watch us on the live webcam that way. And then he does the recording, he sends it out to me, and then he's also putting it up to iTunes for me, so I don't have to do a lot of the work.
Okay.
And then I have another guy in our office that is putting it onto my website as well, and then I'll be adding info products to that, or opt-ins.
Well, how can people find you? And we'll give the URL on the screen after you mention it. What's your radio show, and how do we find you, Rosemary?
I'm at motivatingothermoms.com. My radio show is Mom Radio, and right now you can hear it at lifeimprovementradio.com.
Well, you are tearing it up. And by the way, I also did not miss the fact that you said invest and not an expense. So Good
It
for
is
you.
not an expense. It's well worth me not having to do all that work because I have kids to take care of. I have a husband to feed. He eats a lot.
But you're investing in your future growth and profitability, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you're doing. So good for you. Well, it's such a pleasure to
Always
see
a pleasure. Thank you, Jim.
So if you got some value out of this show, and I dare say you did, or rewind it and watch it again, I'd appreciate very much if you would share it. If you're watching this on Newsletter Guru TV, YouTube, or Facebook, wherever, just click the share button and that will post this great information and help introduce Rosemary and my smart marketing and business building advice to others. And before the day's out, look for ways that you can add more value, what it is you're doing for your core product. When you have already happy clients and customers or listeners and fans, and you keep adding more value, it makes them happier. And when they're happier, they stay longer. And guess what happens? When they stay longer, they buy more of your stuff and they also refer more. And those are really great things in your business. And before the day's out, look for ways that you can put a smile on somebody's face. Random acts of kindness are sorely needed. And if we just be a little bit nicer to each other, this country would be a nicer place. And I'll tell you what, be sure to check out my podcast, which is Stick Like Glue Radio, the only podcast dedicated to helping you create an everlasting bond with your customers so they stay longer, refer more, and spend more. Again, all good things. And be sure to get my book. I think this is the last thing on my mental checklist. Be sure to get my book, which is called Stop Waiting for It to Get Easier. Create Your Dream Business Now. Stop waiting.
Just
There's
like
no
me.
reason.
You just get up and do it.
Just get up and do it. Go to stopwaitingbook.com. And until next week, another great episode of Newsletter Guru TV. I'm your host, Jim Palmer. I'm committed to helping you build a more profitable business faster. You take good care.